Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshi Yamamritat. The story we are about to hear comes from the Śiva Purāṇa, one of the great sacred texts that speaks about the glory, compassion, and divine mysteries of Lord Śiva. More specifically, it is found in the Koṭirudra Saṃhitā, the section of the Śiva Purāṇa that describes the greatness and origin of the 12 sacred Jyotirliṅgas. Among these 12 Jyotirliṅgas, the first is Somanātha, the Lord of Soma, the moon. This is not only the story of how a sacred Jyotirliṅga appeared upon the earth. It is also the story of attachment, pride, consequence, repentance, and healing. It shows us how even a curse can be transformed through sincere devotion and the grace of Mahadev. The ancient sages once gathered and requested the great sage Sutta to tell them about the origin and greatness of the Jyotirliṅgas. Sage Sutta was a respected narrator of the Puranas. He had received these sacred teachings from great teachers and shared them with sages and seekers so that divine knowledge would continue to live in the world. When the sages asked him to explain the glory of the Jyotirliṅgas, Sage Sutta replied that even hundreds of years would not be enough to describe their greatness fully. Still, he would share what he had heard from his teacher, beginning with Somanātha. Long ago, there lived a powerful Prajapati named Dakṣa. Dakṣa was one of the great beings entrusted with the continuation and organization of creation. He was known for his authority, discipline, and strict understanding of duty. He was also the father of many daughters, including Mata Sati, who became the wife of Lord Śiva. Among Dakṣa's daughters were 27 who represented the 27 nakshatras or lunar constellations. These included Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, Rohiṇī, and the other stars through which the moon appears to travel during its monthly journey across the sky. Dakṣa gave all 27 daughters in marriage to Soma, the moon god. The daughters were delighted to have the bright and beautiful moon as their husband. Soma too became even more radiant in their company. Their beauty seemed to increase when they were together, just as gold shines more brightly when decorated with a precious jewel. For some time, everything appeared peaceful. But among all his wives, Soma loved Rohiṇī the most. He spent most of his time with her. He stayed near her, spoke with her, and gave her nearly all his attention. Slowly, the other wives began to feel forgotten. At first, they remained silent, but as time passed, their pain became deeper. They wondered why they were being treated as though they did not matter. Finally, they returned to their father Dakṣa and told him what was happening. They said, Soma loves only Rohiṇī. He remains with her and ignores the rest of us. We're all his wives, but he does not treat us equally. Dakṣa was deeply troubled when he heard this. He loved his daughters and could not bear to see them neglected. Still, he did not immediately react with anger. So he went to Soma and spoke calmly. He said, You were born into a noble lineage. It is not right to behave unfairly towards those who depend upon you. You may feel especially close to Rohiṇī, but you still have a responsibility towards the others. And affection should not make you forget fairness. Dakṣa asked Soma, the moon god, to change his behavior and then returned home, believing that he would understand. But Soma did not listen. His attachment to Rohiṇī was so strong that he continued exactly as before. he remained with her and kept neglecting the others. When Dakṣa heard that nothing had changed, he returned once more, but this time his patience had come to an end. He said, "I advised you with kindness, but you ignored my words. Since you refuse to change your ways, may you now be afflicted by a wasting disease." The moment Dakṣa spoke the curse, Soma's, the moon's light, began to fade. His body became weak. His brightness slowly disappeared. The moon, who had once filled the night sky with cooling light, began to lose its radiance. This caused fear throughout the universe, because the moon was not merely a beautiful object in the sky. The moon nourished plants, herbs, and medicinal vegetation. He influenced the waters, the seasons, fertility, and the natural rhythms of life. As Soma weakened, the world also began to suffer. The gods and sages became worried. Lord Indra and the other divine beings, together with great sages, approached Lord Brahma and asked for help. Lord Brahma listened to them and said, "Soma, the moon god, is suffering because of his own actions. And this is not the first time desire has caused him to ignore what is right." Lord Brahma then reminded them of an earlier incident involving Tara. Tara was the wife of Brihaspati, the guru and spiritual teacher of the gods. Brihaspati was greatly respected for his wisdom, knowledge, and guidance. But Soma became attracted to Tara and took her away from Brihaspati. Even after being warned by gods and Lord Brahma, the sages, and all other divine beings, Soma refused to return her. The matter became so serious that conflict arose between the gods and the demons who had chosen to support the moon god at that time. Eventually, Tara was actually returned to Brihaspati, but by then she was carrying a child. When she was asked who the father was, she revealed that the child belonged to Soma, the moon god. The child later became Buddha, the deity associated with the planet Mercury. By mentioning this earlier event, Lord Brahma was showing that Soma's present suffering had not come without reason. Again and again, he had allowed desire to become stronger than wisdom. Lord Brahma then said, "What has already been done cannot simply be erased. Every action brings a consequence. But there is still a path through which the moon god can receive healing." He instructed them to take Soma to the sacred region of Prabhāsa. There, Soma was to worship Lord Śiva in the form of Mṛtyuñjaya, the conqueror of death. He was to create an earthen linga, perform worship, and repeat the Mṛtyuñjaya mantra with complete devotion. Lord Brahma told them that only Lord Śiva could save him. The gods and sages took Soma to Prabhāsa. Sacred waters were invoked and an earthen Shivalinga was prepared for his worship. Then Soma began his penance. For 6 months he remained there and worshipped Lord Śiva without stopping. He repeated the Mṛtyuñjaya mantra again and again, with his mind fixed completely upon Mahadev. The moon, whose mind had once been lost in desire and attachment, now began to turn inward. Earlier, the moon god had been proud of his beauty, position, and brightness. He had followed his own wishes and ignored the pain of others. But now, weak and fading, he had nothing left except prayer. Sometimes life removes the things that make us so powerful so that we may discover the deeper strength of surrender. Soma continued his worship with complete faith. At last, Lord Śiva was pleased. He appeared before Soma and said, "I'm pleased with your devotion. Ask for the boon you desire." Soma bowed before Mahadev and prayed, "Please save me from this wasting disease. Forgive my mistakes and remain compassionate towards me." Lord Śiva heard this prayer. But he did not completely remove Dakṣa's curse. Instead, he transformed it. Lord Śiva said, "During 1/2 of the month, your light will slowly decrease. During the other half, it will gradually increase again." And this is how the waxing and waning of the moon began. During the dark half of the month, known as Krishna Paksha, the moon becomes smaller night after night. During the bright half, known as Shukla Paksha, it grows again until it becomes full. Lord Śiva did not erase the result of Soma's actions, but he ensured that his decline would not last forever. The curse became a cycle. The loss became temporary. The darkness became the beginning of returning light. This is the heart of the story of Somanātha. Mahadev does not always remove every difficulty from our lives. Sometimes he transforms the difficulty so that it becomes part of our healing and growth. Soma still had to experience decline, but he was also given the power to rise again. The gods and sages were filled with joy. They came to Prabhāsa, bowed before Lord Śiva, and prayed him to remain there for the welfare of the world. Soma also praised Lord Śiva with deep devotion. He praised him as Nirguna, the formless supreme reality beyond all qualities, names, and appearance. He also praised him as Saguna, the compassionate Lord who takes a form so that devotees can love, worship, and approach him. Pleased with their prayers, Lord Śiva agreed to remain at Prabhāsa. Because Mahadev protected Soma, he became known there as Someshwara or Somanātha, the Lord of the Moon. This sacred manifestation became the first of the 12 great Jyotirliṅgas. A holy pond was also established there, known as Chandrakunda, the pond of the moon. The Śiva Purāṇa says that bathing there with faith removes sins and brings healing. It is also said that those who visit Somanātha, worship the Linga, and walk around the sacred region of Prabhāsa receive great spiritual merit. But the deeper meaning of the story is not limited to a sacred place. It is also a story about the human mind. In Vedic thought, the moon represents the mind. Like the moon, the mind is always changing. Some days it feels bright, peaceful, and full. On other days, it feels tired, restless, or empty. Soma's suffering began when love turned into uncontrolled attachment. There was nothing wrong with loving Rohiṇī. The problem was that his attachment made him forget his duties and the feelings of others. And this can happen in human life as well. We may become deeply attached to one person, one desire, one achievement, or one experience. Slowly, that attachment begins to control the mind. We stop listening to wise advice, we lose balance, and sometimes we may hurt others without fully seeing what we are doing. Soma had to lose his outer light before he could discover humility. His healing began when he turned towards Mahadev. That is why he worshipped Lord Mṛtyuñjaya. Mṛtyuñjaya does not only mean the one who saves us from physical death. He is also the Lord who helps us overcome inner darkness, pride, fear, obsession, and despair. Soma repeated the mantra until his restless mind became steady. The moon, who represents the mind, finally surrendered his own mind to Mahadev. That is also why Mahadev wears the crescent moon upon his head. The moon is always changing, but Mahadev remains still. The mind is ever restless, but Mahadev is peaceful. And when the mind rests in Lord Śiva, it does not disappear. It becomes calm, clear, and beautiful. Somanātha teaches us that life will always move through phases, and above every changing phase stands Mahadev, silent, steady, and complete. This is the glory of Somanātha. He is the Lord who heals the tired mind. He is the Lord who gives the fallen another chance. He is the Lord who reminds us that even after decline, renewal is possible. May Lord Somanātha calm our changing minds, heal what has become weak within us, and remind us that after every dark night, light can return. May Jagatpita Mahadev bless us all. Keep seeking, keep chanting, keep surrendering. Om Namah Shivaya.